Good morning, Crusader Nation. Mr. Fairchild here with your morning announcement and quote of the day. I know what you're thinking. Some of you thought you could get away with not hearing the quote of the day, but I'm here to tell you, you can't escape. So here we go with our quote of the day. All I can think about during this unprecedented time is how important it is for us all to stay connected as a school community. Check in with your family members, check in with your friends, check in with your teachers. And as I think about that, one quote specifically comes to mind, and that quote is by Helen Keller. The quote is, "Alone we can do so little, together we can do so much." So once again, let's stay connected, let's support each other, engage with each other with our remote learning experiences, and please, 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 if you need anything, reach out to one of your teachers, myself, Miss Darga, your counselors. We'll all get through this together. Take care, everyone.
Here's Julia with the pledge.
Please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Monday is going to be our first stay-at-home Spirit Week. Come to your virtual class dressed up based on the specific Spirit Day themes. Monday is Ruther Day. Wear your favorite Ruther spirit wear. Wednesday is Crazy Hair Day. Rock your best crazy hair look for April Fools. And Friday is Decades Day. Come dressed up as your favorite decade. Even though the library is closed, March is still reading month. You can access hundreds of ebooks and audiobooks from the RCS Digital Library. Just go to the library's website, cnlibrary.weebly.com, click on ebooks and audiobooks, then select RCS Digital Library. Use your RCS username and password to check out a book. If you can't find anything you like there, then look at the list of other places you can find free books to read. Did you know RCS is sharing weekly maker challenges? These are a great way to get creative while at home and make something awesome. There are also a ton of cool STEM and maker resources for you to explore. Check it out today. What will you end up making? If you are experiencing any technical issues during this remote learning time, email technical support or reach out by phone. Here is Julia with Friday's featured read.
Good morning, Crusader Nation. My name is Julia, and welcome back to Friday's featured read. This week's book is The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater. This book is about Blue Sergeant and the 4 Raven Boys from Agley and Bee Academy. Blue's mother is a psychic and clairvoyant, but Blue didn't inherit these traits. Blue then sees a spirit one day, one of the Raven Boys, Gansey. Just Gansey. She only has one policy: stay away from Agley and Boys, the Raven Boys. Disregarding that policy, she is drawn to him, leading her to the Raven Boys. Gansey, obsessed with finding the ley lines that lead to a long-lost king. Adam, the scholarship boy who resents all the wealth around him. Ronan, with emotions ranging from anger to despair that he can't seem to control. And Noah, he observes everything around him, but rarely speaks. All her life, Blue is told that she will kill her true love. Since she doesn't believe in true love, this never bothered her. But now that she's met the Raven Boys, she isn't so sure anymore. Stop by the public library and try and pick up this book soon.
We end today's news episode with a March's Reading Month read from Mrs. Bodell.
Counting on Catherine. Just so you guys know, if you have any younger brothers and sisters, have them come and enjoy this as well. This is about Katherine Johnson. There's that famous movie Hidden Figures that's about her life. It's a great movie, something we're going to watch in the classroom, but feel free to try to rent it on your own now. It really is a good movie. All right, Counting on Catherine. Counting on Catherine. Catherine loved to count. She counted the steps to the road, the steps to the church, the number of dishes and spoons she washed in her bright white sink. The only thing she didn't count were the stars in the sky. Only a fool, she thought, would try that. Even so, the stars sparked her imagination. What was out there? Catherine yearned to know as much as she could about numbers, about the universe, about everything. Catherine's boundless curiosity turned her into a star student. She was so bright she skipped 3 whole grades. She catapulted right past her brother. He wasn't too happy about that. By the time she turned 10, Catherine was ready for high school. But back then, America was legally segregated by race. Her town's high school didn't admit black students of any age. Catherine burned with fury. She wanted more than anything to keep learning. There was still so much to know. "Count on me," Catherine's father told her. By working night and day, he earned enough money to move the family to a town with a black high school. Catherine loved high school. She was good at every subject, but math was still her favorite. She dreamed of becoming a research mathematician, making discoveries about the number patterns that are the foundations of our universe. In those days, though, there were no jobs as research mathematicians for women. Professions most available to them were teaching and nursing. So Catherine became an elementary school teacher. She liked her job and she loved her students, but she never stopped dreaming about exploring numbers. In the 1950s, the U.S. government's National Advisory Committee on Aeronautics, or NACA, hired thousands of new employees. It even started hiring black women as mathematicians. Catherine heard about the mathematician jobs. Her heart raced with excitement. Perhaps her dream could come true after all. But when she applied for one of the positions, she was told they were already filled. Catherine had to wait a whole year until new spots opened up. Her patience paid off. She got the job. A few years later, the Soviet Union sent a rocket ship into space, launching a space race with the United States. NACA was rolled into a new space agency, the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, NASA. Catherine now found herself at the heart of America's space program. She worked as a computer. Electronic computers were not widely used yet, calculating long series of numbers. All the computers were women. They were given the tasks that men thought were boring and unimportant. That didn't bother Catherine. She knew that without her contributions, a spaceship couldn't reach its destination nor safely return to Earth. Here's why. Sending a rocket ship into space is like throwing a ball into the air. At first, the force of the throw sends the ball up, up, up. But as its energy runs out, the ball's path curves back toward the ground. Where it lands depends on what angle it was thrown and how high and how fast it flew. Because math is a kind of language, Catherine could ask those questions. How high would the rocket ship go and how fast would it travel? Using numbers, and numbers would provide the all-important answer. Where would it land? To find out, Catherine plotted the numbers she'd calculated on a graph. When she joined the points together, they formed a curved line. At one end of that line was Earth at the time the rocket ship launched. At the other was where Earth would be when the ship landed. Catherine's reputation for accuracy and strong leadership skills, she was known for asking plenty of questions, got her promoted to Project Mercury, a new space program designed to send the first American astronauts into space. Mercury's missions were going to be dangerous, so dangerous that even the project's star astronaut, John Glenn, refused to fly unless Catherine okayed the numbers. "You can count on me," she said. Glenn's spacecraft, Friendship 7, orbited Earth 3 times and returned home safely. Glenn became a national hero. Catherine was promoted again. Now she was asked to calculate the flight paths for Project Apollo, the first flights to the moon. "Count on me," she said. On July 20th, 1969, the Apollo 11 astronauts walked on the moon. Their feat was celebrated around the world. More triumphs followed. Apollo 12 rocketed to the moon in November 1969. Apollo 13 launched on April 11, 1970, but on the third day of Apollo 13's flight, the worst thing happened, an explosion in space. Could the crippled spaceship make it to the moon? And if it didn't, would it be able to get back home to Earth? The 3 astronauts on board were in grave peril. Commander Jim Lovell told Mission Control, "Houston, we've had a problem." Back on Earth, Katherine Johnson got a phone call. Her flight path calculations would have to be done all over again and perfectly. It would be the toughest challenge of her life. Catherine told Mission Control, "You can count on me." She rolled up her sleeves, took a deep breath, and began doing the math. She worked hard and fast. A few hours later, Catherine's calculations were finished. The flight path to return home would take the ship around the far side of the moon. From there, the moon's gravity would act like a slingshot to zing the ship back to Earth. To get home, the crew of Apollo 13 would have to follow Catherine's course exactly by burning off fuel at precise intervals. If the astronauts made a mistake, their ship would drift through space forever. Catherine waited anxiously to hear the astronauts' report. Finally, it crackled over the loudspeakers. "We've got it. Apollo 13 was back on track." Katherine Johnson had done it. She'd brought Apollo 13 home. She was no longer the kid who dreamed of what lay beyond the stars. She was now a star herself. And here's some more information about Katherine Johnson. Feel free to look her up. Just so you guys know, on February 24th of this year, she did end up passing away, and she was 101 years old. Remember, she's also in the movie Hidden Figures if you guys are interested in watching that. Hope you guys are staying safe and healthy at home, and we'll see you on Monday.